Hi, today we have Taxis Chronicles and I'm your host, Simon Rushton. We have a teacher in the back of the vehicle who's going to tell us what it's like to be a teacher in the coronavirus era and just generally listen to what he has to say. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's a typical day as a teacher now? Like you're still going to school, the virus is around,
Yeah.
What's it like?
First of all, the school is really empty. Like compared to a usual day, where kids are running around and working. It's really empty and it's really weird. But you still have to go in. There's still kids to teach, and
How's it weird?
Weird in a sense, like on a normal school day, you're always seeing students about in the corridors or going to lesson or whatnot. But now it's like, well, at my school there's loads of classrooms, but at the moment there's maybe 3 classrooms in use. It's basically like a ghost town.
Are they full classrooms? Are they full classes?
I'd say about pretty much full classes, yeah.
And are these students who are like what Boris says, the special? He used a word saying like basically vulnerable students. Are they vulnerable?
So kids who are vulnerable, so kids who don't get pack lunches at home, and kids whose parents are key workers as well.
So how do these students feel, or are they aware that the government has said you can only come to school if your parents are a key worker or you're vulnerable? Because if your parent is not a nurse, a dustman, or a policeman or something like that, you're going to know you're one of these vulnerable.
Yeah. I think the kids are quite happy actually, because they get to see their friends, or well, most of them get to see their friends, and I think some of the kids were saying if they were at home, they'd pretty much be bored really, apart from doing homework and stuff, but they'd be bored. I mean, it wouldn't be the same talking to your friend on FaceTime or online compared to when you would see them face to face. So some of them are quite happy to actually be with their friends for the time that they're at school.
Okay. Does any of them have family or have the virus?
Thankfully not. They're all safe. All their families are safe. So there's not that I know of. There's none of their family members that have the virus.
Are the kids applying with the government recommendations of like washing your hands, sanitizer? They're all wearing masks in the school.
They're all complying with the rules that we've set out and what the government have set out. So making sure they're washing their hands after going out to play or after going to the toilet. And obviously all surfaces are cleaned thoroughly daily, and in terms of the social distancing as well, we're trying to keep them into at least groups of 2 on each table to keep them away and not bunch them up too much.
So you're saying they're in pairs?
Yes.
Instead of being singular, they're in pairs, but
yes.
Between the pairs there's 2 meters.
There's at least, so there will be like on either side of a table, which is about 2 meters or so. Yeah.
And do they does that work for them? Do they feel? Do they understand why this is necessary, or do they care?
Yeah. They the first day we explained it to them, and obviously some of them have been watching the news to see, so they know how serious this virus is and how it can impact their health. So they really take it seriously and comply by the rules as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're a PE teacher.
Yeah.
What kind of physical training or teachings do you give?
It's mostly game based, so it's mostly games. So depending on the age group, so the age group that I work with from 11, 12-ish to the oldest is about 15. We try and make sure that the games that they're playing and that they do are games where they're not as bunched up, so they'll be doing it by themselves instead of teamwork games. Although teamwork games will be better, but in this current situation it'll be games where they have to work on their own.
So there's no football anymore?
No, I wouldn't say so. No.
So what's the games? Did you teach any games today? What game did you teach today?
Today was more we were in the classroom today actually, so it was more board games, interactive games where they'd come up and they would pretty much teach the rest of the class what they'd be learning and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you say, so PE, just to make sure I understand,
Yeah.
is played as a board game,
Yeah.
like noughts and crosses or snakes and ladders.
Yeah.
But surely that is closer than if people are playing football and you say everybody has to stay 2 meters apart, so you pass and you can only intercept the ball when it's being passed. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. But also I reckon in this case they'd be more they wouldn't understand the rules of staying away from each other. They'd be more bunched up in football, I reckon, because seeing as they're kids, they're more susceptible to be tackling and going towards the ball instead of staying away.
Are they on autopilot? So
Yeah,
done it
yeah.
many times before. Huh?
Yeah.
I understand that. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the classroom, it's more controlled. It's more of a controlled environment. Whereas in football, everyone just wants to go to the football and kick it and tackle and stuff like that. So,
do you think the government, and this is forgetting about the virus for now, do you think the government allows there to be enough PE time in schools? Like in comparison to Australia, has it every day. Every day is you have an hour of exercise, so you install you get a healthy nation, that kind of thing. Do you think, from my understanding,
yeah.
England's once a week you have PE? And I couldn't believe that, being ex-military myself.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Once a week for PE?
In my school we try and do it twice a week, but I think it should be more, considering they are changing the amount of time you have for break time and lunchtime. So I think in break time is maybe 15 minutes, which I don't think is enough. And even when we do PE, the time gets taken out of them getting changed and them lining up, so that's more time out of their actual exercise time that they should be actually doing. So I think the government should be allowing more time for kids to be doing PE and to exercise. It's a release from them being in a classroom for 5 hours. That 1 hour I don't think is enough for them to be
So
getting the
how
amount.
often would you recommend?
I reckon you could do it 3 times a week. 3 times a week would be enough.
I see. In my eyes, I would have said a bit like the military. You bring everybody comes to school with their school uniform, but does PE as a massive group. You know, like in China,
Yeah.
where you do all your stretches,
Yeah.
you do everything for half an hour, 15 minutes, running around, blah, 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 and then they all change, and then off they go. So it's kind of, and they know that needs to be done first thing in the morning. So they're all vitalised, they get that energy boost, that, what was it, morphine or whatever, it goes around your body and away you go. I think that would be a great idea, but obviously it's not my say.
I mean, I do agree in terms of doing PE early in the morning, but it's just if we have, well, in my school we have 8 classes per year group. It's just finding the teachers to accompany that group, because I think the rule is 1 teacher per 30 students or something. So it's just finding the amount of teachers to get them, together.
What do you see as the future in schooling? Because clearly we're not performing as we could have been.
In terms of sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's changing. I think back in the day when I was in school, the age group in terms of the teacher wise was quite old. We're talking maybe in their late 30s, early 40s. But as I was studying, I realized that there's so many younger PE teachers coming through with new ideas, and with their new ideas, I think it will change. It will change the development of kids, of the quality in terms of their performance throughout sports in general. So yeah, I think it's going to change a lot. It will get better. There'll be a lot more kids to source from in terms of, let's say, the Olympics and sports events. They have so many opportunities now as well. I mean, I know there's so many after school clubs that they go to.
Don't they have that attitude in schools, or that system where everybody's a winner?
Yes.
So that kind of thing, in my eyes, is a big downfall. For example, in Jamaica, where my parents are from, sports day is a serious thing.
Yeah.
No matter how bad your parents are, every parent turns up for sports day and encourages and pushes their child, and that's obviously our performance, as in what we've written, the Usain Bolts and stuff, is fruits of that mentality and that mindset, where and then within that you get losers as you get winners. But with everybody's a winner, we'll never be at the top as England as a country, or Britain as a country.
I think that also has to change as well. I mean, I know during primary school that would be the case. Everyone's a winner to kind of keep that inclusion. But in terms of sports, I think everyone, especially if you want to make it, you need to be competitive. You need to have that competitive nature in you to say, you know what, I lost this time, but I'm going to do better. I'm going to win. That's what the top athletes have. If you look at like you said, the Usain Bolts, the Ronaldos in football, in gymnastics, just everything, they have that mentality of, I'm going to win no matter what. So yeah, I think that has to change, but I think that has to change as they get more serious into the sport that they want to do.
Hmm. Okay. Well, it's been an interesting conversation with you. I thank you for taking this time during this taxi journey. We will add you to the Taxi Chronicles episodes, and we will send you an episode of your episode.
I look forward to listening.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.